Please subscribe, like and share this content. It means a lot to us. Thank you in advance. Cornell Law School, U.C.C, Article 4, Bank Deposits and Collections, Part 1, General Provisions and Definitions, Paragraph 4101. Short title. This article may be cited as Uniform Commercial Code, Bank Deposits and Collections, Paragraph 4102. Applicability. A. To the extent that items within this article are also within Articles 3 and 8, they are subject to those articles. If there is conflict, this article governs Article 3, but Article 8 governs this article. B. The liability of a bank for action or non-action with respect to an item handled by it for purposes of presentment, payment, or collection is governed by the law of the place where the bank is located. In the case of action or non-action by or at a branch or separate office of a bank, its liability is governed by the law of the place where the branch or separate office is located. Paragraph 4103. Variation by agreement. Measure of damages. Action constituting ordinary care. A. The effect of the provisions of this article may be varied by agreement, but the parties to the agreement cannot disclaim a bank's responsibility for its lack of good faith or failure to exercise ordinary care or limit the measure of damages for the lack or failure. However, the parties may determine by agreement the standards by which the bank's responsibility is to be measured if those standards are not manifestly unreasonable. B. Federal Reserve regulations and operating circulars, clearinghouse rules, and the like have the effect of agreements under subsection A, whether or not specifically assented to by all parties interested in items handled. C. Action or non-action approved by this article or pursuant to Federal Reserve regulations or operating circulars is the exercise of ordinary care and, in the absence of special instructions, action or non-action consistent with clearinghouse rules and the like or with a general banking usage not disapproved by this article, is prima facie the exercise of ordinary care. D. The specification or approval of certain procedures by this article is not disapproval of other procedures that may be reasonable under the circumstances. E. The measure of damages for failure to exercise ordinary care in handling an item is the amount of the item reduced by an amount that could not have been realized by the exercise of ordinary care. If there is also bad faith, it includes any other damages the party suffered as a proximate consequence. Paragraph 4104. Definitions and index of definitions. A. In this article, unless the context otherwise requires, 1. Account means any deposit or credit account with a bank, including the demand, time, savings, passbook, share draft, or like account, other than an account evidenced by a certificate of deposit. 2. Afternoon means the period of a day between noon and midnight. 3. Banking day means the part of a day on which a bank is open to the public for carrying on substantially all of its banking functions. 4. Clearing house means an association of banks or other payers regularly clearing items. 5. Customer means a person having an account with a bank or for whom a bank has agreed to collect items, including a bank that maintains an account at another bank. 6. Documentary draft means a draft to be presented for acceptance or payment of specified documents, certificated securities, Section 8102, or instructions for uncertificated securities, Section 8102, or other certificates, statements, or the like are to be received by the jury or other payer before acceptance or payment of the draft. 7. Draft means a draft as defined in Section 3104 or an item, other than an instrument, that is an order. 8. Buoy means a person ordered in a draft to make payment. 9. Item means an instrument or a promise or order to pay money handled by a bank for collection or payment. The term does not include a payment order governed by Article 4A or a credit or debit card slip. 10. Midnight deadline with respect to a bank is midnight on its next banking day, following the banking day on which it receives the relevant item or notice or from which the time for taking action commences to run, whichever is later. 11. Settle means to pay in cash. by clearinghouse settlement, in a charge or credit, or by remittance, or otherwise as agreed. A settlement may be either provisional or final. 12. Suspends payments with respect to a bank means that it has been closed by order of the supervisory authorities, that a public officer has been appointed to take it over, or that it ceases or refuses to make payments in the ordinary course of business. B. Other definitions applying to this article and the sections in which they appear are: Agreement for electronic presentment, Section 4110, Collecting Bank, Section 4105, Depositary Bank, Section 4105, Intermediary Bank, Section 4105, Payer Bank, Section 4105, Presenting Bank, Section 4105, Presentment Notice, Section 4110, C. Control, as provided in Section 7106, and the following definitions in other articles applied to this article. Acceptance, Section 3409, Alteration, Section 3407, Cashier's Check, Section 3104, Certificate of Deposit, Section 3104, Certified Check, Section 3409, Check, Section 3104, Holder in due course, Section 3302, Instrument, Section 3104, Notice of Dishonor, Section 3503, Order, Section 3103, Ordinary Care, Section 3103, Person entitled to enforce, Section 3301, Presentment, Section 3501, Promise, Section 3103, Prove, Section 3103, Record, Section 3103. Remotely created consumer item, Section 3103. Teller's check, Section 3104. Unauthorized signature, Section 3403. D. In addition, Article 1 contains general definitions and principles of construction and interpretation applicable throughout this article. Paragraph 4105. Bank, Depositary Bank, Payer Bank, Intermediary Bank, Collecting Bank, Presenting Bank. In this article, 1. Bank means a person engaged in the business of banking, including a savings bank, savings and loan association, credit union, or trust company. 2. Depositary bank means the first bank to take an item, even though it is also the payer bank, unless the item is presented for immediate payment over the counter. 3. Payer bank means a bank that is the drawee of a draft. 4. Intermediary bank means a bank to which an item is transferred in course of collection except the depositary or payer bank. 5. Collecting bank means a bank handling an item for collection except the payer bank. 6. Presenting bank means a bank presenting an item except a payer bank.